Hello, everyone. Welcome to Survival Jobs, a podcast in collaboration with BroadwayWorld and the Broadway Podcast Network. We are in our season 3. My name is Samantha Tutzelo, and this is my amazing co-host who is just cranking out film festivals and cranking out film festival events, Jason A. Coombs, doing it all. Jason, hi.
Hi, Samantha Tutzelo.
Happy anniversary week, by the way.
3 years.
3 years.
April 1st, April Fool's Day 2021 is when we started this bad boy.
We sure did. We released double episodes on April 1st, 2021. We released Meet Your Hosts, which I don't even think I can listen to at this point because what did we talk about?
I don't know.
And then we released Bertucci's to Broadway, our first guest ever, Robin DeJesus.
Yes.
And Jason, we've come such a long way. I can't believe it's been 3 years. And we're cranking it up and we're keeping it moving.
Crank that like Soulja Boy.
What's your temperature check? How are you?
Well, I was going to ask you. I want to be a stereotypical musical theater gay today and be like, instead of doing a temperature check, is there a show that kind of fits your vibe, like fits your energy this week? Like a Broadway show?
So good. That's so good. But okay. Can you, if you have one, can you go first? Because I definitely
I have one because I'm a weird musical theater guy. Mine is Ragtime, girl. Like I'm feeling so like invigorated with just politics. Like I've been all into politics for the past couple of years, and then I got so crazy in 2020 that I had to take a break. But I've been, of course, following along. I just feel like a revolution is coming, and that reminds me of Ragtime, right? The energy of like changes in the air. Things are gonna be hopefully better. Like things are happening. There's like a revolution on the way, and I don't know. I was just like, that's what I'm feeling like. I'm feeling like Mother, like a changed person. By the end of the show, like Mother was a little bit naive, and I feel like that's me every election cycle. And then by the end of it, I'm a new person. Yeah. So, and also Alex Newell. Did you see that? Alex Newell performed. Weren't you there? Or no, you weren't there.
Yeah, at the Broadway Backwards.
Yeah, you were there for that.
Yes.
That bitch. Oh my god! Before. Oh my god.
Alex took the house down. I was crying. Sometimes Alex opens their mouth and I say, "What?"
Yeah, you saw that in person. You are so blessed. But yeah,
we were so blessed to see Shocked with Alex.
Oh my gosh, that was incredible.
Oh, I was so I'm sorry. I saw that performance in person. I was so blessed. Yes. I think you said we saw Alex perform in person. We are so blessed. So double blessings.
Double
blessings on our head. Mazel tov, mazel tov,
Mazel tov, mazel tov. What is your Broadway musical theater show check? Or it could be a play.
Yeah.
Go that route.
So I think this is such a great new format and I'd like to do it every week.
Sure.
Now that I know that I can think about it a little more, I'll come in hot. But this might feel like a cop-out to some people, but my show of the week to really give my mood is Into the Woods. Because I've been feeling really like up and down with life lately, like and a little bit lost in the woods. Like I'm really confused about like some life choices of where I would like to fully live and
connection.
Yeah. And so I straight up feel lost in the woods like the baker's wife.
Oh my gosh.
And Into the Woods, it's very much of the high highs and the low lows. And I've sort of been riding that wave for kind of a while, but specifically the past couple of weeks, it's been just like the ups and downs, but I'm definitely lost in the woods right now, looking for a cow as white as milk, a cape as red as blood.
I love
Jason,
that.
I love that new shaking up our mic check.
Yeah, I thought of it last week and then we didn't do it because I just forgot. But then, I was like, I don't know. It's a little cheesy, a little corny, but
I don't think it's cheesy or corny at all. And I'm absolutely here for it. Thank you.
And survivors, let us know what your Broadway energy check is in the comments if you get this and you see this episode come out today, which is Thursday, April
4th.
4th. Yeah. So tell us what your Broadway energy check is. Anyway, Samantha.
Hey.
Thank you. Can we talk about the Who's Tommy for one quick
Yes,
sec? We're gonna have a
let's do
guest
it.
in a couple weeks from the
In a couple
show, but
weeks, we
we
sure
saw it
will.
last week at separate times. And what's your consensus in a couple words? We don't have to go into full detail, but
I say this about myself a lot. I say I miss middle school Samantha seeing Broadway shows, meaning that I am a little bit jaded with Broadway because I'm so fortunate and I inhale Broadway so much that sometimes, and by the way, we talk about this in our episode today, so sorry to be repetitive, but sometimes I'm just like, "Oh, I have to go see this show," and, like, I don't have to do anything, you know? It's such a
preach.
privilege, and I love theater, and I do love it in my soul, but sometimes I miss the way I felt when I was in middle school. The Playbill smelled different, getting off the train from Grand Central, walking to the theater, sitting in my seat, there was just such a feeling that I don't get all of the time, and after act 1 of Tommy, I felt like middle school Samantha because I felt like that
Aw.
show was so tight. I felt so excited. The energy of the performers were just
Out
through
of
the
the
roof.
roof, yeah, out of
Yeah.
the roof.
So I even, shout out to Josh Pemberton, who sometimes listens, so maybe he's listening. I was with Josh, and I said, "Josh, the playbill even smells like middle school Samantha," and he was like, "What are you talking about?"
Now he
But that's
knows.
that's, like, my little review is, like, I tapped into a feeling that I had when I was younger going to
Yeah,
see Broadway, and it was really beautiful.
that is really beautiful. I love that you shared that middle school Samantha. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I think that that was like an immersive, like, tour de force. And it was so exciting being in that audience and just, like, the way that people responded to it, and, like, me, I don't have a personal connection to that show. I've heard the music, but I've never, like, really seen it besides, like, the movie on VH1 a couple times when I was younger. I knew, like, Tina Turner was in it, but, like, there's some diehard, The Who's Tommy fans, and it was like a concert at some points in there. Not that people were, like, singing along, like, that wasn't, like, that kind of weird like, weirdness. It was just, like, people were excited. It was like they were like seeing like I don't know, they were seeing like Beyonce or like I don't know, like Elton John or something. People were just so excited for it. It was so fun. It was such a great time, and yeah, I left ready to create. Like I left like, oh my gosh, this is why I do this. I
Yes.
love when a show can make you feel that way. So shout
Yes.
out to that. We'll talk more about it in more detail when we have our special guest in a couple of weeks. But
Dun, dun,
I really
dun.
wanted to shout out that show, and I hope people go get tickets to go see the show, go
Listen,
support it.
my mother is like,
Yes,
"Where's my
Dawn.
tickets?" Dawn is like, "Let's go.
Love that.
Let's go."
Love that.
Um,
We need
listen,
theater like that. We need
we do.
exciting theater. Like there's room for, there's room for the heavy,
The
deep
parades
shows,
of the
the
world.
parades of the world, remember? And then there's room for like the jukebox fluff, and there's room for the Disney, and there's room for
Yeah,
the Who's like shows like the Who's Tommy. They're just really gonna excite you in a different way. Really excited for me.
there's enough cake for all of it
Or
to make any
or
sense.
or Big Macs, I suppose we'll talk about them
Or
later.
Big Macs, which leads us into today's episode. Jason, I just wanna thank you. Today's guest is Robert Bannon, fellow podcaster, creator, actor. This guy is incredible. He was so great to Jason and I, and he came over to our season 3 launch and
You
was one of the
did.
outlets on our press line, and he's just such a great guy, and Jason was like, we should have Robert on," and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it," and
Yeah,
so
'cause he's such a great singer. Like, I didn't know like, I think I talked about this a little bit in it, but I, like, knew him from, us doing carpets and his show, but as I was, like, getting to know him, we follow each other on Instagram and, like, clicking links, I'm like, "This dude can sing." Like, that was so exciting, right? And to
yeah,
see someone who's a creator, who's making their own lane, right? He's a teacher, but he's also this iconic red carpet, like, interviewer
killing
who
it.
does, like he has,
Yeah.
like, so many guests, and he's interviewed so many people, and he does concerts, like, he's just an exciting person, and I didn't go into this with, like with expectations of he was going to fulfill, like, something that was in me, like, it's just he really ignited, a passion in me with what we do, like, a reminder of why we do what we do, It was such a great
Yes.
and fun interview to listen to,
Yes, because
so
sometimes we're tired and we're in our survival jobs and we're like, have to find the energy to do it, but
mhm.
it is such a we're so lucky
We're very
to
fortunate.
have this platform and this show and the opportunities we have to
Yes.
continue to be inspired and get other folks, get their stories. So
Yes.
this is gonna be a good one.
This is gonna be a great one. I think people will really, really enjoy it. So we do his bio for those who
Get
don't
into
know him.
it. Get
Right.
into it,
I'll
Jason.
start. Robert Bannon is an actor, singer, and talk show host. He has released the number one Amazon AC album, Unfinished Business, and the live album Rewind, which is now streaming wherever music is heard. He has appeared on The Real Housewives of New Jersey and SNL, and created the Broadway lecture series, which has featured Miles Frost, Jennifer Holliday, and more. He has performed with Patti LaBelle. Y'all watch that on. We'll gotta watch that. It's
Bye.
iconic. George Benson, Laura Benanti, and more at venues such as Madison Square Garden, the Beacon Theater, and for the NBA, NHL, and more. He has performed sets of music as a queer rights advocate across the country, appearing at Prides in Detroit, Washington, D.C., New York, New Jersey, Ohio, and more. Wow.
He's also performed in national touring and regional productions of My Big Gay Italian Wedding, Rent, We Will Rock You, My Way, and many more. He is also the host of the online talk show The Roundtable, which has featured such guests as Lin-Manuel Miranda, Matthew Broderick, Sherry Shepherd, and Billy Porter, and many more. The show can be seen and heard on Broadway World and the Broadway Podcast Network. Sound familiar, people? This is our brother. This is our podcast brother. Bannon spends his downtime from singing and performing in the classroom as a fifth grade history teacher in North Bergen, New Jersey. You
Iconic.
guys, this one is so good. All of our episodes are so special in their own way. This for me, I don't want to speak for you, Jay, but for me, just like you said before, having someone who also does what we do on the show was great and
Yeah.
really did something for us too. So hope it
Yeah.
does that for you guys, you survivors.
And after you listen, if you enjoy the episode and enjoy us, please rate and review us wherever you listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, on VPN, wherever you listen to it. Give us a nice review. And if you didn't like it, don't review it. It's all right.
Just stop listening now and
Less is more.
just if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And if you're confused about being kind, go listen to Robert Peter Paul and the Art of Kindness podcast, also found on the Broadway Podcast Network. Thank you.
Boom. Mic
Review him
drop.
as well.
Yes. Enjoy Robert, y'all. Awesome. Robert, we are so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you for being here.
Yay!
I just want to let you both know that I have stolen everything you do and I've just taken it. Like you are the quintessential Broadway Podcast Network, Broadway World, mega multi conglomerate. You know, you both are on the red carpets and in the virtual life, and you are everywhere. And I'm just in your shadows and footsteps. I've just watched you both.
No, we feel that way about you.
Seriously, I was gonna say all that about you, and I was gonna welcome you to Broadway World officially, right? You
Thank
just
you.
Broadway World.
yes,
Thank you.
you've been on Broadway Podcast Network, but you made the transition to also be on Broadway World as well, which is so cool.
Because I think we're all workaholics. I think that we are all. Is that it? Do we sleep? No, not really.
No. Honestly, I just had to push this recording 10 minutes because my boss from my survival job's called. My survival job. And I was like, "Yeah, like, I'm taking a lunch. Gotta go."
What I love about what you do, and I'm watching you, and now that we're on Broadway Podcast Network and now on Broadway World, you guys are here on Thursdays, and then my show's on Fridays, is that I love that you have like the survival job idea, like is just brilliant because so many people
Thank
want to
you.
be artists and actors, but they have to pay their rent. And
Yes.
Yeah. It's
We're all
tough.
not Nepo babies, so
You know, Jason and I worked a million survival jobs together, and that's sort of why we partnered on this because we were just doing the hustle. And Jason
so
was like working survival jobs and like directing and creating and writing. And I was like, Jason is so cool. I wanna do something with him. And here we are. By the way, 3 years later, this is our 3-year anniversary this week. which
Can
is
you believe it? You know, the first
no.
time I saw you guys were at the World Theater Awards. You were both there.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
all in like a little lobby together, and you
Sweating.
sweating, and people were passing us by left and right, ignoring us. No, they were so sweet and kind, most people. And then you both were there. And what I loved about you both is that you have so like I'm such a selfish, self-centered, egotistical human. You both share the mic and you pick your favorite people to talk to and you collaborate. And that's why I don't do musical theater anymore because ew, who wants to collaborate with people? But you both are so nice. That's
Oh,
so
that's amazing.
nice. I'm kidding, of course. I'm like at least 60% kidding, but you guys are so sweet and you're so nice to share. I love seeing you all out and about in the New York City red carpet
I
scene.
I think we have to cancel the
Thank
whole
you.
interview and just turn this into a big love fest of us just going back and forth and being like, "No, you're awesome. No, we love you. Your show's so good. No, your show's so good."
I know you're gonna have to come on the roundtable now and
I
dish about how
can't.
this all started. So this invite is. Oh, I'm gonna email you both after this. I'm ready.
Thank you. We'd love
We
to be
would
on the
love that.
show.
We would
Yes.
love that.
Well, back to you, Robert. We want to dive in. So before you had your hit show and before you released your first album and before you started doing concerts at 54 Below, let's talk about survival jobs. Do you have a favorite survival job you ever had in your journey as an artist?
Well, I have a real like big old job every day that I
A
don't.
current job that yeah, yeah. Tell
I
us.
I'm a fifth grade school teacher. You know, I have 122 10-year-olds every single day in North Bergen, New Jersey. I teach science and social studies. So
Oh my God.
I'm there from 8:30 till 3, 180 days a year. I also direct and am an artistic teacher at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center on Saturday. So we're doing Mean Girls right now. And then
Timely.
very timely. And then I also like I do interviews at lunch in my classroom at 3 o'clock. When I finish drama club in school, sometimes if you ever see the backdrop, not the wall, and it's like a random pipe sticking out of my head or a kid's book bag, I'm in the classroom. The PA goes off. I quit theater and being a communications major at Seton Hall at 18 years old. I went to
Yeah.
Juilliard Prep. I was in the musical theater prep program at Juilliard, and then I had a bad audition for Rent, and I was to be a replacement Roger at 18, and I had a bad audition, and I said, I'm going to give it up, and I went to school to become a teacher. And I was and am, I have my principal's license, a master's in English. I gave up singing and performing, and I didn't do anything through my 20s. I didn't go back to it until I
Wow.
was 32 years old. And now that I'm 40, it's been this little second journey in my life. So the survival job is great because it affords me health insurance and pays my bills, but it also gives me some time to be able to be an artist. So I feel very grateful and very lucky to have the best of both worlds. I think teaching has made me a better actor and performer because it's a show every day. And 10-year-olds
It
are a
is a
tough.
show every day. Yes, you got to be on. You can't be slacking in front of those kids. They'll drag you.
They will drag.
Drag
And it was
you.
and the online and the album, which thank you, June 14th. I hope you all come on down to 54 Below and see my Pride playlist part 2. Uh, the album was born out of doing a show at 54 Below, and then the pandemic happened, and we made an album called Unfinished Business, which was recorded virtually during the pandemic. Everyone
Yes.
did it at home, and the person who was putting the album out, the little label that was putting it out, said, wouldn't it be fun if we talked like everybody else was during the pandemic and we put on a little virtual talk show? I had never wanted to do virtual. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't know. I don't have a favorite YouTuber. I don't know this world. So we started interviewing people, and he had a jazz Broadway label called LML Music, and Jessica Vosk was his first client. So Jessica Vosk comes on the little show during the pandemic, and the show went on for 52 weeks. And we did a reunion of Broadway people that we sold to 32 performing arts centers. And we had like Heather Headley in the original cast of The Lion King, and we had the
Wow.
Beautystown group and whatever. And then he retired. And I was like, I kind of think I wanted to continue this. And I went to lunch with Robbie Roselle, was with Broadway Records, and he does my cabaret shows with me. And he said, "Why don't you just keep doing it?" And I was like, "No one will come on my show. No one will. No
Okay.
guests will come on. No one will watch." And the rest is history. I don't know how it happened. How does it happen? Yeah.
Wow.
How does it happen?
My eyes just welled up when you're like, "I am a teacher." I have a question. Is it spring break right now?
Yes.
You're
Welcome to
off.
spring break. This is spring
You're off.
break. It's spring
Welcome.
break. I did 3 interviews this morning. I'm talking to you guys. I have 2 more this afternoon, and the roundtable just
Icon.
chugs along.
Just keep pumping it out. I am obsessed with you, number 1. That is amazing. I literally cry every day about my survival job, and yours is just what a beautiful, beautiful path and journey. But can I ask, before you gave up theater and before you got into this beautiful, rewarding survival job, did you have any, like, terrible ones? Did you ever, like, sling margaritas at a restaurant? Do you ever drop a tray of french fries?
Okay, so yeah, and let me tell you, I my journey in my survival job as a teacher is constantly the thoughts are always changing, and I'm engaged. I have a fiance now. He's in Michigan. Like, there's a lot of changes in my
Ooh,
life.
Michigan.
Ooh,
Congratulations. Oh, he's
yes,
in Michigan.
there's a
You
lot
can
of
shout them
change.
out if you want. Go
That
ahead.
Hey Darius, hey, he's my beautiful
Darius.
Darius is, so like the survival job is good for now. And it's you know what it's like. It's a constant battle and change. But I quit college without telling my parents. And my parents found out and they lost my first semester's pay that they had saved to send me to school. So they made me work at my family's business, which is a landscaping commercial landscaping business, and my father made me dig up driveways and put
So
down
Butch.
walls. And I had to not only take my paycheck from him and pay back my parents, so I didn't get any money, but my father said he wouldn't pay me enough to make a livable wage, so I needed to take a part-time job as a busboy at the local Italian restaurant. So I worked 8 hours
Oh my gosh.
and then I worked at night as a busboy. And I did that for 1 week, and then I re-enrolled in school. So it worked, but I
Wow.
still can get a little PTSD, like, if I have to pick up dirty, like, plates and spoons. Like, God bless service workers and people who wash dishes because you all are disgusting, and you leave a mess on those tables, and I did that, and then I also worked at a Dairy Queen.
Oh, yes.
Was
Yes,
that was a bad one?
I am the Dairy Queen now, but I was I worked that's gonna be my drag name. I worked at the Dairy Queen for the summer before I started teaching, and it was an indoor see, in Jersey, I grew up in Jersey, we don't have the food at the Dairy Queen. Like, you can't get a hot dog and a chicken tender. It's just the ice cream. But there was a seat, like, it wasn't like one of those barns where you, like, eat your ice cream on the car and you have, like, a moment outside in the parking lot. No, there were seats. So we would have to mop the melted ice cream and clean up the dirty ice cream and sanitize the Dairy Queen machine every night. And inside the machine are all these rubber bands, and all of this bleach has to go through it so that you have clean ice cream. It was, it's not easy. So but when you get a M&M Blizzard, you better put $1 in the tip jar because they are cleaning their faces off back there in the Dairy Queen.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my
shout out
god.
to the blizzards because those blizzards really hit a spot.
Mm.
They really come in first over the McFlurry, if you ask me.
If the McFlurry machine is even working. I mean,
Working,
come on,
right?
McDonald's.
Oh, the McFlurry machine gets broken a lot?
I think
Yeah.
and you know what I think
Not in Westport Avenue in Norwalk, Connecticut, let me tell you
oh,
that.
that's
That
because
McFlurry machine is cranking them out.
that might be because you're in the New England-y, it's nice up there in the Connecticut. Jersey is like the armpit of Connecticut, and you guys are the fancy part of the world where what Dairy Queen does well is that they grind the M&Ms up as opposed to McDonald's where they just put the mini M&Ms in, but the Dairy Queen, they're crunched up and broken up so it's crunchy and delicious.
It's also like the
Oh,
Cold Stone when the Cold Stone used to, like, mash everything together
the
on that
Cold
block.
Stone.
Guys, this is a
Mm,
Love Fest episode and now an ice cream influencer episode.
Well, Dairy Queen sponsor Survival Job podcast.
yes.
Hello? If you're
Hello.
listening, Dairy Queen,
At least
I
send us
just
some free
ranked you
ice cream.
number 1.
Right.
I will eat the blizzard on the show.
You gotta
Same.
tell me twice.
Right. I'm here for it. But yeah, there were hard jobs. There were days where, and I did a lot of like student teaching and teaching a pre-K and teaching music to 3-year-olds and aside.
Yeah.
So I tried to keep my first job though ever was the best job I ever had, which was selling tickets for the new, which they were called the John Harms. Now it's called the Bergen Performing Arts Center. And it was selling tickets to see concerts. And then I became the artist assistant at 19. When I dropped out of school, after I got back in school and my parents got rid of the shovel, and that is not my life's calling. And I got rid of the cleaning dirty dishes. I was the artist assistant. So I was in charge of getting the riders, the food requirements and the backstage dressing room requirements for the
Oh,
people.
like Samantha. Samantha did that too.
I did
Where
do
did
that
you do it, Samantha?
at the Highline Ballroom.
Oh, really?
I don't mean to hijack your story, but I do want to say that I did that for Kenny Chesney when I was 23, and his manager loved me so much and then would give me VIP wristbands when he performed at MetLife. And I hit him up the other day for August and he gave me VIP wristbands, 10 years strong. So guys, never sleep on a survival job. You never know the connections you'll make.
Wow.
See, now her and Kenny Chesney are like this because she didn't put kiwi in the fruit salad and she didn't have to gain whatever Kenny Chesney likes. I had to deal with Aretha Franklin for 2 days.
Iconic.
Tell us about that.
I have never told this story on anything. So this is so
we've got a scoop.
Her rider, besides the famous things about her, like she gets paid in cash and it's in a bag and she carries the bag on stage. That's all true. But she showed up in her big fur coat and she wanted 4 Big Macs, 4 Diet Cokes, and she ate them.
Not all for her, right? Or all for her?
She ate them during her sound check, and it was a closed sound check. And then
I'm sorry, I really do have a question. She consumed 4 Big Macs before she performed? Fierce.
Yeah, that was just the sound check. Then she had dinner. Because the dinner was, she asked for appetizers. So we went to the Italian restaurant next door, was called Salaya, and we ordered everything that was on the menu that were appetizers. One of them being fried calamari, which she walked into the room and she said that she doesn't eat squid and she didn't want anything from the table. She was not nasty. She wasn't nasty. She was just adamant.
She knows what she wants.
She's a queen.
And
Can I share my Aretha's? Oh.
Yeah, no, please, I do.
Oh, go ahead. Go.
Like her accent was so weird because when she wasn't on stage, it was like Southern, but she's not from the South, but it was serious. Like you didn't mess with Miss Franklin. So she wanted a poo-poo platter from the Chinese food restaurant. She wanted the Chinese food appetizer. So we got them for her. And then she went to dinner afterwards and had chicken parm. She put on a fun show and she was not. She took a picture. She signed a CD. She was great as long as you did what she wanted.
I have a stomach ache just thinking about it. I have a stomach ache at 4 Big Macs. Okay, not the poo-poo platter. Not the poo-poo platter.
Now I want you to go back. Everyone, watch YouTube videos of Aretha Franklin in concert. Watch her carry out the bag because she's got the bag. And she is eating, she loves an egg roll and a shrimp toast.
Jason's crying, I think. Hello, Jason, are you okay?
I had to put myself on mute because that is so funny. I'm crying. This is the funniest episode we've ever had.
It's the truth. I don't know. I wish I made it up, but that's the truth.
Oh man, Jason, you said you have to read this story. You have to share.
Oh man, it's not as good as that. I just met her one time randomly.
Was she nice?
Oh, she was so nice. I guess it was her birthday. I love Hairspray. That's like probably my favorite musical when it was on Broadway. And I went like so many times. And one day I was like had standing room in the back. And me and my best friend just like, waiting for the show to start. And all of a sudden it gets like really quiet, like really airy. And it's like, it was a matinee. And it was like 2:10. The show hadn't started yet. all of a sudden, like these guys in like black suits come in, and we're like, "What's going on?" And then Aretha Franklin just like strolls into the show, and like we were like standing there, we are like, "Oh my god, like why is Aretha Franklin here?" And then she's like, because we were standing room, she like walked by, and she was like, "Oh hi, baby." She had that southern voice that you're talking about. It's not really southern, but yeah, she did, and she like smiled, and she was so nice. And then literally like 30 seconds later, everyone else in the theater realized it was her, and like everyone started standing up and cheering and wooing, and it was
You see?
insane, but like wild,
My
wild.
ex my straight marriage, my ex-wife worked at this job.
Whoa. Learning so much about you. Wow.
Well, I have nothing. I shared. I don't care. What do I have to hide? So she worked. That's where we met, and she didn't care about Aretha Franklin being there, but I did, as this little gay boy, wanted to meet Aretha Franklin. So I forced her to wait to the end so I could say goodnight to her because I wanted to ask her to take a picture. I didn't care. I was not too cool. I was 18 years old. I'm going to ask her for a picture. So Samantha walks. That's why her name also gives me PTSD. So as I walk into the
Samantha.
no, oh God, bless your heart. So then,
Y'all have a history.
so when we went into the room, Samantha says to her, "What is it like to be you? What is it like to be like the diva of divas?" Not a good question. Not a good question to ask Aretha Franklin. And she looked at her and she said, "Child, please, I have a run in my pantyhose."
This is so good. I mean,
Babe.
you're really coming through with iconic survival job stories. Like I do have to agree with Jason, and no shade to our other, 80 something guests, but this is really taken one of the leads.
No, I thank you for asking about that because if you didn't come in and say, what was your survival? Did you have, I wouldn't have even thought, there are things like when we grow up, we don't even think of these things anymore. It's like
Yeah.
after jobs and we don't remember the story and the
You
journey
get
that
tucked
we're
back
all
here somewhere in your brain.
Correct.
Wow, that was great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I literally have tears for people who aren't watching the videos, literally crying, laughing. You're such a great storyteller. Um,
crazy. I'm insane.
so Robert, I'm sorry.
I'm insane. That's what it is. It's
No, I
insanity.
love it. I love it. So we were introduced to you through the podcast space, right? Through your show, doing red carpets. So as someone who hosts their own show and does red carpet interviews, um, I noticed that you have a huge like musical life that I discovered, and I was like, "Dang, he can sing! Wait, he recorded an album! Wait, he recorded a Whitney Houston song!" I was just blown away by everything you do, and then I was on your YouTube and I found you singing with Patti LaBelle, singing Lady Marmalade with Patti LaBelle, and I'm like, "Who is this guy?" So you're incredible. I'm a huge fan of you, even more now. But I want to know, at what age did you decide that you wanted to like? I know you were saying you took a break from performing, but what age you like realized you had a gift? Because you have a great voice.
Oh God, thank you. That like I said
Yeah,
to you guys before we hit record, I sometimes we get so stuck. I'm sure maybe you feel the same way because I know Jason's done like the SNL thing and he's an actor and a writer.
and you've
And I
done
know that
SNL too.
I did, and I was gonna say to you, they don't those checks are fine and fun, but they don't pay the bills every month. So thank God. But I love my SNL years. But you and everything that Samantha's like multi hyphenate superstars. But I forget that I sing. I don't mean that. I love I love cabaret. I love doing musical theater. I love doing
Yeah,
shows and recording music. Music is the love of my life when in terms of art. I consider myself a singer who can act or a host that sings or I always comes back to
yeah,
I was 12. My family is not musical at all. We did the Wizard of Oz in Roosevelt School in Richfield Park, New Jersey. I was the Tin Man. I was awful. I begged my parents to put me into singing lessons. They took me to the Bergen Mall in Paramus, New Jersey, which was like a dance studio next to a Chinese food restaurant, next to a pizzeria. And we all wore like sequin hats and white tails. And we sang, it was called the Carol Naso Dance Studio. And we did songs like, "You're up in an airplane," or "You're at a party," or else you're, like that. Like very like 19.
yes.
My first solo was "There's No Business Like Show Business," like that.
Oh my gosh.
In the mall for the Christmas show. Because
In Paramus Mall.
come on, Paramus. So I started to study music, and then I guess I found out that I could somewhat sing, and my parents knew nothing about music and showbiz, and they brought me to an audition in New York City for Ain't Misbehaving, which there's no role for me in that show, obviously. But Rose and Greg from New Jersey, they just saw they were looking for a junior version and said, "Oh, my kid could do it." Right.
Crying.
Rose and Greg.
So back then, since I'm so old, the music director of that show sent a letter, like a handwritten letter. Her name was Diane Wilson. And she said, "I remember your son, and we are putting together a group of kids called Inner Spirit, and we are going to be learning how to do musical theater at Juilliard with Burton Rauser. It's the first year, and we're going to do like an like multiracial, multi-gender. Like there was kids from all over this tri-state area. There was 8 of us, and 4 boys and 4 girls, and I want your son to be a part of it." So my parents would drop me off
Wow.
at Juilliard. I was 13, and my first gig, professional gig, was at the Beacon Theater singing background for Patti LaBelle. I was 13 years old. It was a tribute to
13.
13. It was a tribute.
Iconic.
My parents left me there. Like they dropped me off like they were bringing me to the Chuck E. Cheese. See, that's how these documentaries about child stars happen. Don't leave your kids there.
Just
Yeah.
seeing me with Patti LaBelle like that.
And it was a
So
tribute to
good.
Laura Nyro, and it was Patti LaBelle, it was Cyndi Lauper, it was Whoopi Goldberg, it was all of these people, and then us 8 kids. And Patti walked in, and she was Patti, like as she is. She knew none of the lyrics. She did not care. We sang the lyrics. She yelled and screamed and belted and kicked her shoes. And very much like Kenny Chesney's story, I went to her with a little piece of paper and I said to her, "I really love your music and I would love if you can I have an autograph?" And the pen didn't work. So she kissed it and she gave it to me. And her husband at that time was her manager. And he said, "If you ever come to see Patti, send me an email or call me." It was, in the year of Abraham Lincoln. And so
A pigeon.
I became obsessed with her because I didn't know a lot of her music then. My parents were not cool enough to be rocking it, even though they did meet at a LaBelle appearance at a club. It's kismet.
Oh my gosh.
That is.
Kismet. So years later, I have always followed her. I have always watched her. I've learned every word to all the words, the songs that she doesn't know the words to, but I love her so much. No shade, but it's so funny. I love her. It's so great. And
Yes. We're background singers.
where are her background singers? So
That is
So when she was in East Brunswick, New Jersey, in a concert, and I had sent a message to her people, and she was like, "Well, when she asked for volunteers, I had to do it."
Wait, y'all, hold up. He said he's ready. He ain't no punk. Go on, boo-boo. Do you? Hey, hey.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Hey.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Hey, voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Voulez-vous avec moi? Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. From the back of the little child. From the back of the little child. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Real lady mother.
Had to. And out of all my videos, my music videos, my people love the Patti LaBelle moment because I had waited my whole life to be able to sing with her and to go back at her and know the background parts and know what she does. And I want to give all my Pattiness.
I mean, it's just so iconic. And you're singing with Patti LaBelle, you're performing for the Clintons.
Oh, you guys really do your research.
Listen,
Try
we're
to, yes.
reporters. We're reporters.
Hillary twice. I saw.
So
Okay.
that group ended up doing all of the charity events in New York. And I was so gutsy. I was going to say it even worse. The jersey was coming out. I was gutsy. Gutsy's appropriate. I was
Gutsy.
gutsy enough that at one of the Bronx Lebanon hospitals, see, this is what I tell people. You have to in this business, and I know you guys are the same way. If you have this artistic spirit, you have to figure out a singer is a dime a dozen, an actor is a dime a penny, literally everywhere. And you need to figure out a way to wiggle your own self in there. If it's through a podcast, if it's through friendships, if it's through your acting school and collaboration, writing your own projects, making your own thing.
Preach. Yeah.
And so I was a young kid, and we did one where Governor Pataki, he was the sitting governor of New York at the time. He was at the fundraiser, and we had a receiving line, and he was asking us all where we were going to go to school. Where would you like to go to college? Where would you like to go to college? And I said, oh, I'm going to go to Yale. With C pluses across the board here in New Jersey, but I'm going to go to Yale. And so I reached out my hand, and he said, oh, I went to Yale, and my kids went to Yale. And something in me just said, the only way I would go to Yale is if I had a letter of recommendation from you. And he was like, okay.
Wow.
And then his assistant handed a card, and my high school got a letter from the sitting governor of New York at the time, which is why my parents were so pissed when I dropped out of school. Because there's something about the audacity to just ask. And I don't know if you've learned that or me, like sometimes 99 times people will say no or they can't, but that one person is going to say yes. And just asking is sometimes all you have to do.
Listen, we have preached that on this show since day one, that sometimes all you have to do is ask. We got on the BroadwayWorld, because we asked. We had a show where we said, hi, what do you think? And they were like, sure. You never know. And I think there's just like, especially in the artists' world, there's this fear and insecurity and like, oh, I'm not good enough and I'm not whatever. Who cares? Just ask for a letter of recommendation from the governor. You get it.
Just ask. And I feel that way. Maybe it's because we have survival jobs, or we have more than just this. I say this a lot about the teachers in my building, or any career, our careers, this podcast life. Like, if this is all you have, then it's scary to ask because you feel like you're going to lose it. But like a full life of people who are not only, fake famous friends, or having like that person you go home to at the end of the night, or family, or other hobbies that are besides this, gives you some kind of thing to do besides. I for a long time chased wanting to be in this business, wanting to be a part of it. And then at some point you realize like all of this is so much fun, and the highs and the excitement of the red carpet and interviewing famous people and people is over the top. But then you have the day where you have nothing on the calendar, and those days became sad. Like you get addicted to the chase, and you get addicted to the showbiz of it all. And then I had to learn, like, I need to fill in my time with other things that make me feel good. Like I couldn't even sit still. I was always on the run. I didn't even know how to watch a movie anymore because it became like the hustle is so hard.
You're like, what else can I be doing? What else can I be doing?
I need to do more. I need more. So
which leads me. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's been learning to balance. It's been this year's, mantra for me.
So you saying that you wanted to do more, you got to do more, leads me to our next question about your one-man show at 54 Below. Hello, unfinished business. Like you're like Alexander Hamilton, like doing things like you're running out of time. Like I can't even keep up. Can you tell everyone like how did that idea come and the process of building a one-man show?
Sure. I went and saw Matt Gould has Lempicka on Broadway right now, right? And
Matt Gould, shout out. That's your best friend.
That's my bestest friend. And how that happened was, and we saw him at you guys' party, and Matt did a show off Broadway called Invisible Thread that was at Second Stage that Diane Paulus directed, and I went and saw it while I was getting divorced. And I was getting divorced, and I was so lost. It was so messy. It was not pretty. And I was going to see anything I could afford. So every Wednesday I would take myself out on a date, and I would go to TDF and I would buy whatever ticket I could get. And if it was off Broadway and it was $30, I would go see it. So I see this show and I was very moved by the story. And I didn't even have a Twitter account. Like I literally had like the little egg, like the little default picture. Like I never.
Yeah.
But I tweeted Griffin Matthews, who starred in the show and co-wrote it with Matt Gould, and said, I really loved this show and it really moved me. And I was brushing my teeth when I got a notification and he said, it's not about wishing, it's about doing. And something in me was like, this is a new year, a new dawn for me. It's a new I'm divorced, I'm single. I was facing sexuality. I was facing who I was. I was rediscovering my purpose. And I wrote back and I said, do you know someone who you could recommend for voice lessons? And he said, come see Matt. Matt, the show had just closed. Matt was back with a survival job working at a restaurant because they didn't get to Broadway. Their whole life was upended. And I showed up with my Alicia Keys fake chord book because that's the only sheet music I had. And I said, I think I want to go back to sing. I don't know, Ain't Misbehaving, Alicia Keys, Patti LaBelle. I'm just trying to be a diva. I'm just an R&B diva in my body that I want to be. I want to have a concert where I don't eat calamari and I only want poo-poo platters. And Matt said to me, why don't we put a show together just for your friends and family? Like just for us. So we started building a show called Unfinished Business. And then we built it. And then they moved to LA because they got TV and whatever. And I said, I'm going to put on the show. So the first time I did a cabaret show was at the Triad. It was just a piano and me. And then it was and so while I was with Matt and at Matt's, he was like, you should go to acting school one summer. So I said, sure. So he called Eden Espinosa and said, where did you go to acting school? And Eden said, I went to William Esper. And I didn't know anything about this. So I did 6 weeks summer at William Esper. They asked me to do 2 years.
Okay, Meisner.
I did my full, you did Meisner too. I did my full, I spread about it in your bio and your resume and your social security number and everything. I've researched all of them. So I did 2 years there. On a whim in my 30s. I started a week after. I didn't read the book. I didn't come from all around the world. I just was like, yeah, whatever's next. And when I graduated, I decided that I didn't love doing musical theater anymore. I had done Rent and I had done We Will Rock You and I had done a bunch of and I just didn't. I did The Wedding Singer and stuff like that. And I just didn't have great experiences. I felt like I was not happy. But I loved cabaret. I loved concerts because I got to tell my crazy stories and sing whatever I want, and I didn't have to take direction. And 54 Below happened, and now we do a pride show at 54 Below every year, and it is literally 90 minutes of diva songs. This is not like
it's in my calendar.
I'm not singing all that jazz and doing I'm not singing Pippin. I'm not coming out and singing, Out There from the Hunchback and all the typical cabaret. I love that for people, but mine is it's Lady Gaga and Tina Turner and Madonna and Whitney. It's like it is a dance.
I love Gaga.
Yes, divas.
Divas, only divas.
Only divas. Yes.
With a country medley this year, a country pride medley.
Okay, come through, Texas Hold'em.
People ask. Yes, we are. Hold on to your hats, everybody.
Oh my! I love that. So, speaking of Unfinished Business, that was your debut album title as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? How because I know it's 11 covers, I believe, and 2 originals. Like, how did you decide that you wanted to do those songs? And I loved your Whitney Houston cover.
Because I usually am the interview person, and now it's so weird.
To be interviewed.
I want to interview you. It's so uncomfortable.
At our party when they were interviewing us, I was like, hello, like I have no idea how to respond because I'm on the other side.
Well, the original. Thank you for the Whitney love. I love being from Jersey. She's like my first love of my life. No one should sing Whitney Houston, but because no one can sing like Whitney Houston. But it is. I try to just do my homage. It was songs that I loved during COVID. From a Distance was the first. I never was going to sing that song, but the people said it would be good during COVID. We made a video where it was people showing how they were showing love from a distance. And it was all the Zoom calls and all of the graduations that were from afar and all the drive-through birthdays that people did in their cars. And that's how it started. And that video did people connected to that story. And then back to Matt and Griff wrote a song called I Think He Knew, which was about a dad and a son. I had never intended to talk about my personal life. I never meant to be like, I'm a queer artist. I have my own story. I was divorced. I came out later in life. Like it was never something I felt comfortable with because my survival job is a teacher. So what's the line between my personal life and where I feel comfortable sharing and where I don't? but the song spoke to me so much. And when I came out in a little dance studio, little concert in New Jersey before New York and before 54 Below, I sung the song. And at the end, they stood, like everyone stood, and they felt that this was my personal story in many ways. And that became a video, and that became my original song that took me on like the Pride journey. So I've been lucky because of that song to do prides in Detroit and prides in Ohio and prides around the country, and now built my own pride show. But it's always anchored around the idea that, my parents, I'm very lucky. My parents were very forgiving and accepting and open to my life. But I know that there are many people who aren't. So the song is really a dedication to them. And it became my own little, hope. And more people write me about that song that are not a part of the community, but are allies and families, and say things like, I wish my brother was
Wow.
accepted, or I wish my parents understood, or I wish I was able to talk to my son or daughter. And that has become like the greatest gift, is to be able to share that song. So
Wow. Well, congratulations.
thanks. It's so crazy. We take a step and this whole path opens up for you all and for me. And that mantra of unfinished business is that everyone out there right now, you want to like travel to Italy, go on that date, lose 5 pounds, open an Etsy shop. I don't know, whatever it is that you're scared to do, learn a foreign language. This tomorrow, just do it right now. Take one step,
Do
one
it.
phone call, an email, and before you know it, you know, they'll be interviewing you.
You
Wow.
know, you're talking so much about all of these things you do. You're a teacher, you have the roundtable, you're doing cabarets, you're pumping out inspiring music, you're inspiring the world. I can barely juggle this show and my survival job, and I'm tired and stressed all the time. I'm like, how do I go to the gym today? Like, so how do you do it all? How you're just saying like, want to do it, do it. How do you do it all? How does Robert find the balance to hop on the carpet and then go teach
It's
how many 5th graders?
112 a day. It's been it's
112.
112. It's been hard. I get a lot of, I don't know if you guys get this, but like my family, my man, my friends are always worried about me. They worry about me working. They worry about my schedule. They worry about me running. Um, I have started badly to do small things to stop. Like at a certain hour, I have to stop working. I used to work, I used to be on the elliptical machine at the Planet Fitness in Edgewater, New Jersey, editing videos because I was like, and I said, I know
I
you.
edit it. I make the Instagrams on the treadmill. Our Instagram reels and stuff, I do it on the treadmill. What else am I gonna do?
That's how I am. And at some point I had to say like, okay, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to watch TV for an hour because otherwise I was working where I would wake up, work all day and go to sleep, wake up, work all day. And I started to fall out of love with the podcast life, with the singing life. I don't want to look at Instagram anymore. My friends say to me like, you didn't like I don't want to look at anyone's post. I can't even look at it. I don't want to watch a TikTok. I don't want, and then what really, I don't know if this has happened to you. I don't want to see theater anymore. I didn't want to go to see concerts. I was so tired of it becoming a job that I
Yeah.
sometimes had to learn to take a break because I was falling out of love with it because it became like a survival job
Yeah.
without the money, without all the money.
Without the cash.
So I've learned to try to take breaks. And so the gym is important to me, and I've had many moments where it's fallen off because of work, or art is so important to me to support people and show up and be there and see what's going on. And I had to learn like there are days where I'm doing this not because so-and-so is coming on the round table or I'm working the red carpet, because I want to be there as a person who loves it. And it's been hard. It's been really hard. I'm really grateful. I think we all are so grateful, but it's been hard to balance it. So I'm trying to stay where my feet are. I'm trying to, and I take great pride in being available to my friends and my family, especially to Darius. Like, I don't want the love of my life. Like, I don't want to be dead one day, 100 years from now, and people say, he was great. He worked great. Like, I want that real life. I don't want it all to just be, YouTube reels and podcast episodes. Like I think we could have it all. I think we just got to learn how to balance it. And I'm my therapist. It's going to take all my insurance money to figure it out with me.
You know what?
How do
I
you
wanted to make I just wanna make a little connection. You said
please?
we can have it all, and I love Grey's Anatomy, and I rewatch it all the time because I just wanna torture myself, I guess, and make myself sad, but it's the same thing, like, with the surgery. They're like, how can you be an amazing surgeon and also have a partner? But you can. It's all about how you take care of yourself, and you said, like, about your therapist and, like, taking care of your mental health, making sure you go to the gym, setting those boundaries with yourself is so important, and it's so effing hard to do.
So
So
hard.
kudos.
I'm
You're an
trying. I'm
icon.
not. I mean, if you brought Darius out here right now, or you brought my brother out here, they would say he is lying out of his teeth. He is terrible. He is working till all hours of. But sometimes I am, as we all are, and
Exactly.
sometimes I'm learning to stop. Like this break, I am not doing a roundtable. There's no show this Thursday. There is a Broadway World show that's been taped, but I am not. Like I did not book my spring break with 80,000 interviews for the rest of the year. I
Yeah.
decided to sleep. I decided to make sure I go to the gym. I walked the George Washington Bridge yesterday because I live a mile from the bridge. Like I'm
Wow.
to be one with the moment badly, but I'm trying. Jason,
Nice.
do you take a moment? Samantha, do you take a moment?
I've been lately. I have been.
Yeah, I've been trying something you said really resonated with me about like just like being there for people and showing up. So I've been trying to like it'll be like this year, just when someone invites me to something that they're like, a friend is like, hey, I'm doing this show or or do you want to get lunch on like this day? I'm trying really hard to like put it in my calendar, make sure it's there and I can actually show up. And I had to go to like a funeral this weekend of like in Florida, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the tickets are so expensive, and like if I go down, it's gonna be such a quick trip. I was like, I gotta show up. Like my cousin's mom died. I should really go down there and show support. So what you just said like really, really, really hit me, and it's something I'm working really hard on
That's
this year.
and
So
and I'm very grateful that I have and I talk about Darius a lot on my show, but Darius has really grounded me because he's not in this business per se. We met, I did Motor City Pride and he booked me like a good stalker. And he found my videos and I thought this man is very flirtatious in the most appropriate consensual way. But I was like, he's treating car service and hotel. And I was like, no other prides take care of me like this. And then, fast forward 2 years later, our wedding is next year. But
yes.
yeah, and he's a sweetheart, but he is a banker. He manages banks and he's very grounded and he's a
Okay,
Sagittarius.
money.
And he's very, yes, I'm not marrying and we can't both be broke. So I like so his energy is very grounded, where I'm like a roller coaster that's ready to do 1,000 things. He's always reminding me, like, put the phone down and let's have a moment together and be present. And he gets on me because on my interviews you'll hear me say, I can't wait to go see your show, or I'm going to go see your show. And he's like, you're not going to everyone's show. You can't do everything. And he said to me, can you ask your best friends to come with you and go to the movies or go to dinner where it's not, come with me to a red carpet and run my camera. Come to me with tickets I have to a Broadway show because I have to interview
Yeah.
someone. Like have a
Yeah.
real moment with people. And I forget that amongst all this. So.
Yeah, I'm, like, in the opposite, part of my journey than you guys are, like, I'm learning to say no because I said yes to everything for so long that then I lost the time. My mind was like, "What am I doing?" So I'm really trying to focus, like, my approach this year. Let's see how long it lasts. I'm doing okay so far, but it's to say, like, "Hey, I'm sorry I can't make it," and it's not always a negative thing, like, I still need to do my taxes. You know like, I need to make sure I have the time to do my taxes
I
because
hear you.
it's April the 2nd,
My
so
mother was the queen. She was so sweet about it one day. She said to me, you are so great at all these things that you do, but like regular life stuff. I said, I know I'm not the best, like regular. I'm not the person who's going to be like, I have to get up and do my dry cleaning. And then because I'm very grateful to be able to do all of these things. If I told you how many roundtables there are, like you guys would tell me, like, I need to like pack it in, go get to a psychiatric hospital. Alan Seals was like, do 2 a week. There's a podcast a day. like there's an interview a day up on the roundtable, and that corresponds with YouTube. There's a weekly show with 2 or 3 guests every Thursday. And then Fridays are now the Broadway World, which are the roundtables deal with Broadway World. Is this an exclusive chat that only lives on Broadway World? So that was
So
an
you're not doubling.
no. So I did the research the other day. If I keep this going, I need 44 guests a month. And that's a lot of time and work and effort. I know I told you all you're going to say go give him. So we have been cutting back, but it's hard because you guys are lucky too. You build a reputation and people start to give you guests, and some of the guests are better than I could have ever imagined to get, and invitations to go to red carpets and things that I've never would have dreamed to go. And
Right.
it's scary to say no. It's scary to say I can't. It's scary to say I'm
It
booked. It's
really
scary to
is.
say I'm taking a week off. I can't do this anymore because you think it's going to go away, but it's not going to go away. It's just going to make you do your work even better.
Wow. We needed you this week. I feel like you're like the perfect guest. Like you're validating a lot of stuff that's in me. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for like
I'm in the hustle with
falling
you
into
all.
place where it's supposed to be, I guess. I'm sorry.
I'm in the hustle with you both. I understand the struggle, and I am like, I want to be able to support you, put you on my show, tell people to watch and listen to this every single week because, like, there's room for all of us. We're not in competition.
There
I don't even like
is.
the red carpet is a weird. Can I talk frankly? Can I sip my
Yes.
tea?
Sip your tea, sip that tea.
So the red carpet is a very unique place, and most people, more than singing, more than SNL, more than Patti LaBelle, the new thing has been people ask me about what it's like to go to a red carpet, and I don't think people understand what a red carpet's really like. It is an interesting place, and some people are very nice on a red carpet, like you all, and some people like take this very seriously, and I don't believe that be me getting somebody over you or stealing time from you or the fight to get space on a red carpet. We've all done interviews like where our heads are like we're underneath people
Literally.
here like this, and I don't think that. And then they film content that I don't know where it goes because I don't see it anywhere. But apparently they were going to fight for this content. No shade, but all the shade. I don't believe in that as my mantra. Like, if I'm next to you on a red carpet, I want to send the guests to you because I know you guys are great, and I know that I'm not going to
Yeah.
take 15 minutes of your time to ask them about what like something ridiculous because I want you to have a chance to talk to them because my job as a host is to make that person feel comfortable, and I become a good interviewer when it's not about me and it's about them and it's about the people watching.
Facts.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what you all do great because when I watch your show with the fancy graphics that I don't know how to do, you guys it's always about the guest, and I think that as hosts that's what our job is to make them
Thank
feel
you.
comfortable and then the people watching. So when I'm on a red carpet next to you, I won't fight you for an extra 2 inches of space. I got you.
Thank
Same.
you. We'll give the
Same.
space right back.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Well, we're coming towards the end of this. We could talk for another hour or two because it's been such a joy. But we have one more question, and as you know, we always end the show with a really, really fun game. But you're a listener of the show, so you must know that we're big manifestors. Samantha and I, we're all about speaking things into existence, and I really believe things happen when you do that. So, is there a collaboration or a dream project or maybe a dream guest you want to manifest with us today on our show?
Sure. I love when you ask questions like this. I love it. I want all the earthy, crunchy. I'm here for all of it. I think that my manifestations have changed and they continue to change. And I think it's so important. And thank you for asking me this because sometimes when we check something off the list, we forget that the dream can grow and that it's supposed to keep moving because we can rest on like, well, like this is better than I thought. So I guess this is good enough. For me, the Broadway World thing and having a home somewhere other than just BPM, which I love, and YouTube, I don't know where you guys started like me, like I'm just me home and to be able, putting this out on my Instagram and YouTube page. And as it's grown, it's so nice to collaborate with other people and be places. So for me, I really want the roundtable as a business or is this my personal life? Oh,
Whatever.
Either.
Whatever you want.
I would love the roundtable to continue to grow where it's more than just living on my shoulders. Like I would love to be able to open this up for a team of people to help with it. I want it to not be about Robert Bannon. I want it to be about, it's a show where artists talk about art. And, my cousin Adrian, I've been having her come on and we do like award show predictions because she loves pop culture. My friend Mike has come on. Like, I want to continue it to grow where it's not just, I have to do 44 interviews. I want it to be something where there's a team, we can all do this together. I don't want to own this. It's not about me. And I think that with letting go of some of the control, which is not easy for me to do, that maybe it'll continue to grow more. So even collaborating with BroadwayWorld was like, I've always done everything my own to open and Broadway Podcast Network to open it up to be, I want to be able to be more of a co-creator. I don't want to feel like it all rests on my shoulders.
Preach.
Boom. Well,
I
it's
love
coming
that.
to you.
Let's go.
You're amazing. Thank
You're
you
amazing.
so much.
I love you. They throw a party, everybody. They had drinks. They had photo. They had little food, like little crudité moment. They had fancy friends who don't come on my show that come out. I got to talk to them. And you guys are fantastic. You guys have taken your idea and built it up to something that we, as other people who do what you do, never dream. So you living your dream allows us to continue to grow ours. So thank you so much for what you do.
Back at you. I think that's what's so beautiful about this podcast community is that we all inspire and uplift each other. And just like you said, there's enough cake for everyone, or however you said it. And I think that's
enough Big Macs.
No. Jason.
That's it. There's a run in my pantyhose right now too. I hear you. I'm here for it.
That's so good. Yeah. Anyway, I was just going to say, I feel like this podcast community that we're in is just a lot more supportive and welcoming and loving than, like, say, a community of actors who are like, no shade towards actors. We all are them. It's in some way or another. But, so thank you. This was lovely.
Yeah.
But
I can't wait to have some time for you to come on the roundtable and tell me how this all came to be. I'm ready for it.
We ready.
Are down and ready.
Yes. Okay, so very fitting game. I thought would be a very fitting game because you love divas, we love divas. We're gonna do some diva trivia to end the show with tonight or today. So we have 4 questions and a bonus.
4 questions.
Samantha, you want to take the first?
Sure.
You have this like prepared?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We were up last night trying to make sure we got this.
It was Jason. He took lead on this one. Don't let him take the credit, babe.
No, we're a team.
We sure are. Question 1. Are you ready, Robert?
I'm so excited.
Oh, good. Question
music.
1. True or false? Mariah Carey was the first female singer to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with her song Fantasy in 1995.
I think this is a little tricky. Okay,
Ooh.
Because Whitney's album was the first female artist to debut at #1.
Yes, that's very true.
But I don't know about the Hot 100 and coming in and she had 7 consecutive #1s, Whitney. So, but I don't know about it being the hot. And that's why these interviews are going to be 8 hours long. So I'm just going to say I believe it's true.
Correct.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding.
It was tricky because I thought maybe it was false because I thought Whitney was the album but no, Mariah. True.
Right. Whitney was second with Exhale, Shoot, Shoot. Like a week later. Isn't that crazy?
Come on. Encyclopedia? Let's go.
Encyclopedia?
Oh my gosh. Question number 2. This Lady Marmalade singer found an additional career as a pie maker with her famous Thanksgiving sweet potato pie starting in 2015.
Come on, Patti LaBelle. And now you could get her peach cobbler and her frozen greens. And there's more at the Walmart than just the pie.
Wait, peach cobbler?
I love peach cobbler.
cobbler. She has a peach cobbler. Now,
Oh my gosh.
people have told me it's not very good, but I will never talk to wrong about patio salad.
You can't. You
Yeah,
We gotta
absolutely
try that,
cannot.
Samantha. We gotta get some.
I mean,
I'm
maybe
getting
we'll have
peach
it.
cobbler.
Maybe we'll eat it on the show. Who knows?
But there's a next red carpet you're at. I'm gonna bring you right from the Teterboro, New Jersey. I will bring you a peach cobbler. The
Hopefully it's Lampika. Hopefully we're all at Lampika on the 14th.
You got it done.
Well, let's see. We'll let you know if it happens.
Peach cobbler, lemon pizza cobbler.
Oh my god, we have to make so good. Okay, next question. 2 for 2 so far, so you're killing it. Next question. This diva currently still holds the record for 7 consecutive #1 singles for the last 4 decades. A. Madonna, B. Whitney Houston, C. Katy Perry, or D. Ariana Grande.
Katy Perry? Excuse me? No shade. I'm sorry. How dare you put Katy Perry in this lineup of singers?
She came close.
I'm sure she could have.
Woo!
She could run. I'm not picking on Katy Perry. She's lovely. I love her.
Oh, that's funny.
It is Whitney Houston, everybody.
Everybody.
Record. That is a good record. And if she didn't put if My Name Is Not Susan out, which was from her 3rd album, which is the I'm Your Baby Tonight album, that was the song that would have that didn't make it to #1. But the song following that went to #1. So she could have, if they just changed the order, she could have had 8. So I don't know. I'm a nerd about Whitney.
And Katy Perry.
Did you like the Whitney movie? We'll pass.
I think
Next question.
I wish Whitney lived in this day and age. I wish
Same.
that Luther, I wish that Whitney, I wish that everyone could be in a time and place where they didn't have to be what Clive Davis wanted them to be, where they had to hide who they were and they weren't able to be who. And I like that it showed some humanity behind her. I hope people remember her for, the amazing things that she did and not just that, because she's the greatest voice of all time in my opinion.
I'm gonna be sending you Whitney memes from now on because I'd be
Please?
bothering my other friends and
Please
they'd be like,
love
Jason.
some Whitney.
I'm obsessed.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. I got so excited about Whitney. Sorry. Okay, this diva scored the first #1 song of the new millennium in 2000 with the hit single "What a Girl Wants."
Oh, that's Miss Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding.
Okay. Oh, I was so scared because these questions. I'm just a nerd. Like, do you know that I read the Billboard charts every week? I'm a nerd.
You still do? I used to do that when I was younger. I love that for you.
Wow. Guys, you like bring me into a whole nother world that I don't really live in, and I'm here for it.
I read Broadway grosses. I read Broadway movie box office. I used to read
that.
I'm a nerd. I'm such a nerd.
Well, we love it. A nerd in the best possible way.
I'm with you on there. We'll nerd out together on your show.
And I'll just sit and be like, I'll just talk about Grey's Anatomy and Scandal in the corner. That's where I'm a nerd at. Rewatching like a ding-a-ling.
I want to marry Kerry Washington.
Oh gosh.
I want to marry President Fitzgerald Grant.
Oh yeah. A throuple. Come on.
I will cry. I love Tony Goldwyn so much. Okay, final question. Sorry. There's a bonus. There's a bonus that you don't need because you have a perfect score. So if you get the bonus, you're really just like exceeding the game. Bonus. Here we go. This R&B diva who has her first musical premiering on Broadway this spring and her first ever groundbreaking single premiered in April 2001. Name this diva and her single.
Well. Miss Keys herself, Miss Alicia Keys, is on the Hell's Kitchen on the Broadway. Her first single, I believe, was 2000. Now, I was a senior in high school, and I remember when J Records put out the promo video with the piano, and Fallen was all the rage. And the album is iconically good.
Song's in A minor.
The song is A minor, and I won a contest to meet her back then at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, and I was teaching a couple years later, and I was teaching. So I had my students write a card for her, and I brought it to the meet and greet, and she opened it, and one of the kids wrote, "Hi, Alicia, hit me, HMU, hit me up with their number." And she said, "You tell them that I like guys that show respect." And I went back and I was like, Alicia Keys said that you better show respect to these young ladies out here in these streets.
That is so good.
I
Oh
love
my
that.
God. The stories you delivered on this episode today is unbelievable. Thank
You
you
guys are
for
great.
all of the gold.
Thank you for
for
the
all of the
game.
gold.
Thank you for the game. I have to
Congratulations.
get my receipt. I'm not going to show up at 54 Below saying I'm going to sing a diva song, and you all think I just found some 10 or 12 random. I had to show receipts here on the Survival Job podcast.
And you aced it. You aced the game with flying colors. Well, thank you so much. This was honestly, just like Jason said, he needed your inspiration this week, and so did I. So thank you for sharing all of your wisdom and all of your stories. Before we go, can you please let our listeners know how they can find you on social media and how to keep up with you and how to listen to the show?
Sure. The show, you could listen to Survival Jobs podcast on BPN and watch Broadway World, and then follow it up with the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon, on Broadway World and on the Broadway Podcast Network. And you can follow me at Robert M. Bannon or at the Roundtable with Robert Bannon. Wherever you want, I'm everywhere. Just find me. Or go to robertbannon.com and buy your tickets and come say hello on June 14th at 54 Below.
Listen, I believe Jason and I will be there on June 14th. Like, if I could make an assumption.
I'm going to send you tickets, and before you get in, I'm going to make you answer 5 diva questions that I'm going to deep dive.
Can Jason and I be on a team, because he'll win and I'll fail?
Good.
Give me some SVU. If you give me Law and Order SVU trivia, if you give me Scandal trivia, if you give me Grey's Anatomy trivia, I'll win. But he'll definitely take lead on the diva. Okay?
Okay. Deal.
Thank you.
That's it. That's a promise.
And if y'all are tuning in because you're a Robert fan, as you should be, and you don't follow us yet, follow us at Survival Jobs Pod on Instagram, on Twitter, and on TikTok. On Facebook, we're Survival Jobs a Podcast. Shoot us an email. Let us know a dream guest at survivaljobspod@gmail.com. Follow my boy Jason at Jason A. Coombs, and I'm Sammy Toots. And Robert, you're an icon. And go listen to the Roundtable, you guys. Run.
Thank you.
Yay!